Beyond San Quentin's bars, nature paints a tapestry of awe. Majestic mountains embrace the horizon, while azure waves caress the shore, reminding captives of a world beyond their grasp. Within its confines, a prisoner's soul weeps, shackled by anguish, yearning for liberation, trapped in the clutches of despair.
I live 200 feet from the ocean, but I can't stick my feet in it. One day, I'd love to go to a beach, put my toes in the sand, watch the waves and just take a deep breath.
San Quentin Prison was built in 1852. It began with 48 windowless cells for 250 inmates, but soon became overcrowded. Death row inmates are housed in cells roughly 4 foot times 10 feet in dimension, stacked on top of each other. Within death row's grim embrace, those condemned for capital punishment endure solitude, cut off from fellow inmates, education and employment. They are limited in visitation and exercise. Isolation engulfs their existence as they are confined to desolate cells for up to 23 hours daily.
A glimmer of hope emerged in 2020 as CDCR, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, launched a program for 100 death row inmates, offering a voluntary escape. Now, this lifeline extends to all with death sentences, bringing a mandatory shift in fate, ending the automatic segregation of people sentenced to death and mainstreaming them into the rest of the incarcerated population. A chance to rebuild lives, repay debts to victims, and engage in transformative rehabilitation programs.
Now, San Quentin will be transformed, renamed even, as part of a rehabilitation effort that has never been tried on this scale in this country.
The goal is to turn all of San Quentin into a kind of re-entry platform. Death row would be dismantled and entire portions of the prison would be rebuilt for classroom and workshop space for expanded programs.
Being incarcerated, I would have never imagined having a camera in my hands, learning how to do film. We're the only incarcerated film crew in the nation.
No one who's been in this media center has come back to jail, right? Has come back to jail or prison, has been rearrested, has got a ticket for that matter, right? So this place is all about rehabilitation, right?
And they provide the necessary skills that we need to reintegrate back into society.
CDCR's 2020 pilot program allowed 100 death row inmates to transfer voluntarily. Now, all individuals with death sentences must do so. Escaping the clutches of death row, Rogers and a dozen souls embarked on a journey, halting in the Central Valley. Overwhelmed, frozen in awe, as they stepped onto grass after decades, tasting a sliver of forgotten freedom.
We just marveled at the softness and the smell of the grass and the earth. It was remarkable. The officer let us stand there and watch as we left our footprints in the grass. It's just an amazing thing that people take for granted.
Corell Thomas, aged 49 and on death row since 1999, encountered a sensory overload following his transfer to the new space.
On the yard, it's just movement, people running laps at different speeds, people doing push-ups and exercising, someone's throwing a football back and forth, people playing soccer while others are playing football. I was keeping my head on a swivel, trying to take in as much as I can, turning right to left every 2 seconds. On death row, we don't have such fast movements.
For 22 years, I was handcuffed and escorted around like I was an animal. Now I don't have to strip down naked when I'm called for a medical appointment anymore. It's a lot more freedom.
Thomas found solace in self-help groups, guiding others through trauma processing and therapy. While some seek parole, Thomas seeks personal motivation. Here's what he has to say.
There's some sense of normalcy as opposed to being just locked in a cage and regarded as trash and unworthy of anything. In a San Quentin cell by yourself, you keep all this stuff to yourself. But once I was in this circle and going through this class, I learned to open and share. This change I've made in my life, this growth, becoming a better person, it's solely for me. That's how I approach it. A lot of guys do this to be able to get out. But I don't have those opportunities as of yet.
Jarvis Masters fights for justice after wrongful conviction, with witness recantations and support, including Oprah Winfrey. Anxious about transfer, he emphasizes communication with his attorney.
There's no place where I won't feel I'm on death row and innocent. You can put me in a place with a new basketball court or where I can wash my laundry or walk into a chow hall without shackles, but I'll still be thinking about my status. To say we're going to give prisoners a right to be without hand restraints, I feel like my whole life is in hand restraints.
Chained echoes linger in the minds of many death row inmates even after being transferred to a new prison in San Diego, where hands habitually seek the shackles' embrace. Amidst such confinement, simple joys like cold ice cream and evening yard time unveil the splendor of a star-kissed night, a first taste of freedom's grace.
Trapped amidst legal battles, Kane's affirmed death sentence holds precarious uncertainty, torn between hopes of reprieve and fear of an uncertain fate.
Hopefully the powers that be will deem me worthy of a real second chance. Life without the possibility of parole is a death sentence under a different name. When does the rehabilitation become as important as the punishment?
Rogers, now in a prison in San Diego, finds solace in the company of individuals envisioning life beyond prison walls.
It gives us a little bit of hope. I'm in an environment where people are studying for parole hearings to go home. People are packing up and leaving to go to the streets, and that's kind of exciting.
Doolin dons a worn blue shirt gifted by the prison years ago. Absent labels, it conceals his captive identity, a symbol of resilience amidst an unmarked journey. In tender dreams, he yearns to reunite with family and anticipates shedding the prison blue, embracing freedom's vibrant hues.
I'll wear this shirt until it falls off. Here, they strip you of your name and give you a CDC number. It's part of the psychological warfare, tearing you down, making you feel worthless and not even acknowledging you as a human.
Other than California, states like Virginia, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Arizona have abandoned the automatic isolation of death row inmates, integrating them into the wider prison population. Oregon closed its death row units, merging most capital offenders with the general incarcerated community in 2020. While in California, Philadelphia, and Oregon death penalties are legal but a moratorium is in place, marking a historic shift. Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia signed legislation on March 24, 2021, abolishing the death penalty. Virginia became the first southern state to ban capital punishment, heralding a new era of justice.
Again, to be here at Greensville Correctional Center today, since this has been here since 1991, and this prison, as we all know and have been reminded, has housed Virginia's death chamber. I have just finished a tour, including the execution chamber. I don't know how else to describe it, but other than say that it is a powerful thing to stand in the room where people have been put to death. I know that experience will stay with me for the rest of my life. And it reinforced me that signing this new law is the right thing to do. Virginia's history, we have much to be proud of, but not the history of capital punishment. Like many people, when I was young, I believed in an eye for an eye. But as I matured, my mind changed. And as I have learned more about how the death penalty is applied in this country, I can say that the death penalty is fundamentally flawed. Most importantly, we know that the system doesn't always get it right. We've started by reforming other criminal sentencing laws and other work to pry unjust policies out of the fabric of our criminal justice system. Ending the death penalty is the next vital step in that process. There is no place today for the death penalty in this Commonwealth, in the South, or in this nation.
Journey to Nowhere. A poem by inmate Ramon Rogers. I pace back and forth in a straight line, thinking of nothing, trying to burn time. The soles of my shoes grow thinner each day. Black hairs on my head are turning to gray. My sight starts to blur, my eyes are quite sore. Pacing repeatedly across this hard floor. 1,000 miles have already been paved. But there's no destination this side of the grave. Lungs fill with stagnant, polluted, burnt air. The smell of death is everywhere. The heart beats weak with question and fear. Maintaining a life that is going nowhere. A stomach twisted in 1,000 knots. Lives are discarded and usually forgot. The blood can boil just under the skin. When things go wrong, 'cause you never can win. There is this spinning inside my head. Without my freedom my life feels dead. The darkness cloaks the brightest of days. The chill in the bones is here to stay. The laughter, the love, the pleasures and pain. Everything is numb and all feelings retrained. The hours are endless as time rushes in. Left in this wasteland without any friends. My pace is slow with each passing day. My strides grow short and willpower frays. The distance traveled is less than before. Will God ever help to open this door? The battles aren't over even when won. 'Cause when least expected, another has begun. A stoic existence, I will wish for tomorrow. But after a while there'll be no time to borrow. I pace back and forth in a straight line. Thinking of nothing, trying to burn time.